Welcome back to my channel where I like to show you different techniques of bead weaving and jewelry making that I know. And today I want to show you how to make this right angle weave netting. We're going to make the mate to this earring, and I'm making it to go with this necklace that I made. I also did a right angle weave netting and filled it with little 3mm pearls. I have a show coming up in April, so I'm trying to get my displays ready and figure out how I'm going to display my jewelry. If that's something you'd like a video on, how I prepare for my shows and actual footage of the shows, let me know in the comments and I can do that for you. So if you're excited to learn this stitch, please give this video a like, come on back and we'll get started. So to make the mate to this earring, I'm going to need 11 seed beads. These are Miyuki. When I'm doing a project as precise as this, see how this is a square? You could even make the earring in a square, but I kind of like it as a diamond shape. When I'm using 11's to make a very precise shape like this, I like to use Miyuki because they're a little bit smaller than the Toho and they're very uniform in size. And we're also going to use 3mm pearls, 4mm bicones, a wire guard, and an ear wire. So thread your needle with a comfortable amount of thread and put a stop bead at the bottom. And we're going to pick up 8 11 seed beads. Bring that down to the stop bead. And we're going to sew it into a circle, going up through that last bead and through all the beads again. And then pulling that needle through. This is what you have. This is your first unit. Now we've got 8 seed beads, and we're going to make it, this is made 4 by 4, so 4 rows across and 4 rows down. And so we're going to start sewing this way. We're going to go up through these 2. We're going to consider each of these 2 beads as 1 bead. So I believe the first video I showed you was a right angle weave bracelet, and I just used 4 fire polish beads. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to consider 2 beads as 1, if that makes sense. So we're going to go up through these 2 here, and we're going to add 6 more because we're going to share this side with the next unit. So let's add 6 more. We're coming out of the top of that seed bead on there, and we're going to go through the bottom of the second seed bead and pull through. And now we have 2 units on. I'm going to sew around until I get to the other side of this unit. And we're coming up these 2 beads. Up 6 more of my 11's. I'm coming out the top of this bead. I'm going to go through the bottom like we did in the last unit. Now we have 3 units on. I'm going to go up these 2, considering these 2 as 1 bead. And then come up the side, and we're ready to add on our final unit of this row. We're going to pick up 6 11-ohs. We're coming out of that top bead. We're going to go into the bottom. And pull through. Okay, so we've got our first row done. I'm going to sew until I get, so my thread is coming out the top bead of this last unit, and we're going to add 6 more. I'm using a size 12 beading needle because we're going through these beads a lot and they're going to get filled. And I find that the size 12, they're the thinnest of all the needles, and they kind of start to bend a little bit for me. And you're going to go through. Whoops. Hard. Not as easy to do on camera as it is if I was just beading alone here. So I'm going to go through those 2 side beads, pull, and now we've started the second row, and we're going to go sew down this way. And to do that, I'm going to sew around the unit. I'm now coming out of this side. I'm going to sew through these 2. And then up through these 2 on the second unit here. Because where we shared one side, we're now going to share 2 sides. So now we're just going to add 4 seed beads rather than 6. So I've got 4. I'm going to go through the top of that side bead there. And I'm coming out of the top of that seed bead. So this is what I have. Gonna pull. And we've got our second unit of the second row on. And I'm just going to do that 2 more times till I get up to here, and then we're going to add the third row. Got my second row on it, and I've sewn around to come out the top bead here. And we're going to add 6 more because we're starting another unit that's going to share this side of this unit. So we're going to pick up 6 more 11-ohs. Coming out of the top of this bead, we're going to go through the bottom of that second one. Now we've got the first unit on of the third row. I'm going to sew around. Now we're going to share the second unit on the third row is going to share the side and this side of the previous units. So we're going to pick up 4 now. We're coming out of the top. And sometimes your beads need to be just straightened a little bit, but you're coming out of the top right here. We're going to go in through the bottom of this unit like this. And we're going to pull. And now we've got our second unit on. I'm going to sew around. I'm going to sew up this side. And over, up through this side of this unit. So I've sewn around to position my needle to come out of this set of 2 right here. And I'm going to pick up 4 more 11/0s. Coming out of this unit here, we're going to go through the top of this one. And pull through. And now we've got our third unit of the third row on. I'm going to do my last unit. I'm going to sew around. So I'm coming out of the top of these set of 2 beads. I'm going to pick up 4 more 11/0s. Coming out of the top of this bead, I'm going to go in through the bottom of this side of this unit on the second row. Okay, so now we've got our third row on. And we just need 1 more because it's going to be 4 by 4. And don't worry, these beads will straighten out and make a nice round little unit once we start getting the 3mm pearls and the bicones in. So I'm going to start my 4th row by going up these 2. And now, whenever I'm starting a row, I'm going to add 6 because I'm sharing a side with this unit here on the third row. So now I'm going to add 6. So that happens only when you're starting a row. And then once you're adding on the remaining units of that row, you're picking up 4 seed beads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm coming out of the top of that seed bead. I'm going to go through the bottom of that group of 2 and pull. I'm going to sew around like I did on the other rows. Come out. I'm sewing around just to position my thread to put on some more beads. And now we're going to put on 4 more 11/0 seed beads. coming out of the top of this. I'm going to go in through the side like so. We're sharing 4 beads with this unit, 2 with this unit, and 2 with this unit. And now we've got our second row, or our second unit on of the 4th row. I'm going to finish this row up, and then I'll be back and we'll start adding the pearls and bicones. I've got my last unit on, and now we've got our square, which is a 4x4 for the other earring. Now don't worry, these look a little wonky right now, but once you get the pearls and bicones in it, you can always go around and straighten them out, and then they look a lot more uniform like this one. Okay, so I'm coming out of the top of this set of 2. I'm going to pick up a 3mm pearl. Coming out of the top, I'm going to go through the bottom of that next side of the unit and pull through. Whoops. Don't move the camera. So I've got my first pearl on. I'm going to pick up another pearl. Coming out of the top of this set of 2, going to go through the bottom of this set of 2. And that's going to pop that pearl right in there, and it'll sit really nicely. Now, if you were going to, like say for this 3rd one, if you went just from the top of this one to the top and sewn down, it wouldn't lay as nicely. So whenever you're coming out of, whatever you're coming out of, like I'm coming out of the top of this seed bead here, I have to go through the bottom of that next unit. Let's put one on. Okay, let's do the last one in this row. Pick up your 3mm. Oh, come on. Come over here, little 3mm. Okay, pick up your 3mm pearl. You're coming out of the top of this set of 2. We're going to go through the bottom of this set. So I now have 4 3mm pearls on. My first row done. I'm going to go over to this way, around, and do all 4 sides, and then I'll be back and put on the 4mm bicones in the middle. So I've added all of my 3mm pearls to the 4 sides of this earring, and I've sewn around through the thread bridges to come out the top of this set of 2 seed beads right here. And I'm going to pick up a 4mm bicone. Now I've found that doing this type of unit, you can work with either 3mm or 4mm beads, and I kind of like the 3mm pearls, but when I'm putting bicones on, I tend to go toward the 4mm. So we're going through the bottom of that set of 2 and pull through, and we've got our first bicone. I'm going to pick up another bicone, coming through the top of this set of 2, going through the bottom of the other side, pull through. I've got 2 bicones on. I'm going to sew around to get my needle in position to add the other bicone. So I'm coming out of the top of this set of 2. I'm going to pick up a bicone and come through the bottom of this set of 2. So Okay, and we're going to put on our last bicone on this side. I'm going to sew up these two beads here. Make sure you just get the two. I'm coming out of the top of this one. I'm going to go sew through the bottom of this one here. I'm picking up my bicone. And there you go. We've got the first side done. Now, since this is a pair of earrings, I'm going to do both sides so that if you're wearing your hair up or anything, you can see, you know, the beads from both sides. So I'm just going to actually, let me see here. I'm coming out of this top bead. I'm just going to go through this little hole right here, flip it over, and then I'm going to add the 4 bicones here and then the 3 millimeters all around the sides. Come back, we'll get the wire guard on and the ear wire. We'll have ourselves a pair of earrings. Added all my beads to both sides, and I sewed in the one thread I was using, and I'm going to take the stop bead off this side and thread a needle, and that's where we're going to put the wire guard. Now, as I said, I'm using a size 12 beading needle, so you definitely have to flatten that thread out to get it through that tiny eye of the size 12. So I use my flat nose pliers and pull it through. So we're coming out of the top of this set of 2 seed beads. We're going to pick the wire guard up. Go through the other side of that wire guard. Come down. And this is how the wire guard is going to sit on the earring. Now I'm just going to reinforce that a couple of times. Come back and we'll put the ear wire on. All right, ready to put the ear wire on. We're going to take our ear wire, and this one here has got a loop at the bottom. I'm going to open it like I open a jump ring, like a door. I'm going to hook on the earring. Close it like a door. And there we go. We've got a pair of really cute earrings. So thank you for joining me today and spending some time learning this stitch, making these cute little earrings. If this was helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe so you get notified of any time I upload a new video, and I will see you next time.